Hey, boutique owner friends. I am going to show you a few mini website critiques, basically to demonstrate what I'm going to explain in the blog below about how to audit your own boutique website. And I chose these three randomly off of the post that I had made. And I haven't looked at these sites yet at all, so I'm going to be looking at them with you for the first time. So the first thing that you want to do in your audit is check out your above the fold. Now, I don't know if you've heard of that term before, but basically it means before your customer, and this is, I'm going to look and critique on desktop, but if you're doing your own audit, you also want to do the same thing, but on mobile. Like check all of these same things, but on mobile. So again, your above the fold is basically what your visitor sees before they even scroll for even a second, because sometimes that's all the opportunity that you have to keep them on your website. So whatever they see as soon as they hit your site, that is going to dictate whether they bounce or whether they continue on. So your logo front and center is obviously never a bad thing, because that is a lot about brand recognition and that sort of thing. This is a little bigger than I would normally have, but at least it doesn't cover the entire homepage. I have seen that where the logo literally covers this whole area, or sometimes where you even have to scroll to actually even see the whole logo. And that stuff isn't good. So this is fine. I usually just wouldn't have this quite as large because it's taken up so much real estate. But again, at least you go right down to, items. Now, featured products, this is like the standard verbiage. I would try to brand that up a little bit. Like what can you say, like styles you'll adore, or, latest, or our favorite products right now, or, like what can you say that's going to be on brand for you, that's a little bit more catchy. And then you want to see, like, okay, so if we're looking at the above the fold, we see 4 products here, and one of them doesn't even have, or one of them isn't even sized like the others. So there's this gap here, which is just kind of aesthetically not pleasing. And then these 2 are completely sold out right in front. And then these photos are okay, but they're not super consistent. And as you scroll down, if you do get them to scroll down, you see that same thing. So there's modeled, flat laid, mannequin. So definitely the photos here could use some work, and that has to do with your branding, as well as just the overall aesthetic, of your website. And then the fact of having 2 sold out items right up front. Now, unless you restock a lot of items, then you could do like restock alerts, and that does make sense. But otherwise, I wouldn't recommend. I would just recommend setting up your collections to where they filter out items that are out of stock, because you don't want anybody hitting your website and just feeling frustrated that an item they really love, they can't get now, they don't want to get anything, or they just get the impression like everything seems like it's out of stock and they leave and never want to come back. I get that, scarcity and urgency are possible, strategies, but so it's a call that you have to make for your own business. But I mean, certainly I wouldn't want that to be like what's right up front and center on above your fold. So, and then also, like, I personally, just as far as like what is modern and what works right now, with conversion rates, I would recommend definitely a theme that has a top menu rather than a side menu. I mean, if this works for you, that's great, but it's just not what I would recommend, because again, like above the fold, it would be nice to have like a smaller logo, a clear menu right here that's right in front of your visitor, that's really easy to just, hover over something and it drops down. And then it would go into some photos that are a little bit better branded, or graphics that really, again, just are better branded and highlight something that, is in stock. Okay, so that's some ideas here about the above the fold. So then you also want to check on getting visitors to follow you. So I'll use this as an example since I had just seen this. Okay, So this is what pops up. Who wants 20% off their first purchase? Sign up now. We promise you won't be sorry. First name, last name, email, get on the list. Okay, so something to consider here is gathering your first and last name is definitely not a bad idea. And if you're collecting lots of emails this way, then that's totally great. What you could play around with is just asking for email only, just to see if that increases how many how many people you're getting to subscribe. You just want a low barrier of entry for getting them to do what you're wanting to do. So the least amount of things that you can ask for, the better. But again, if you're collecting emails just fine, asking for all of this, it is useful information. So it's just something to think about. But it's great to have a pop-up because you do want to do what you can to get visitors to, subscribe to your emails, download your app, join your Facebook group, join your text message club, whatever the case may be. But the other thing you want to think about is being really strategic and thoughtful about, like, if your visitor is only going to do one thing, what is that one thing going to be? So then you want to make sure that everything focuses on that one thing happening. Another thing with this is, and this will come up later too in your customer's checkout journey, but this is actually kind of hiding your checkout button. So this, I always recommend having it either on the side or down below, but then you're really going to want to check on desktop and mobile that none of your apps are like overlapping with each other, or especially on mobile, like overlapping each other or covering something important. And also this red doesn't fit with your beautiful branding because this site is lovely. Actually, this, oh, that's weird. On my computer, I almost thought this was blue for a second, but it's white. Okay, that's weird. I must be going crazy. But anyway, this red, I would just definitely change the color because it just doesn't mesh with your whole vibe that you have going here. I would probably change the color of this too, just to be a little bit more on brand. Just because you do have, oh yeah, when I scroll up, this does turn blue. Maybe, blue, I guess blue must be one of your colors. And maybe mustard, because this is mustard too. I don't know, those colors don't flow that well to me, but if that is your branding, there's definitely nothing wrong with it. It's just aesthetically, like, I'm all about branding, so it's just popping out to me. But anyway, you're above the fold is great. Let's see what this clicks to. It clicks to your new arrivals. That's great. Okay. So let's see. Your website's product organization. So the idea here is that you just want to make sure that it's as easy as possible for your customers to find what they're looking for, in as few clicks as possible as well. So let's check out this one. Okay, so I'm guessing you only carry shoes, which is awesome. And this just goes to all your shoes, but you do have your categories here. Now, I wasn't going to look on mobile, but I'm feeling like I want to make sure, because the one thing, an unlikely pair. Okay, I'm looking at this right now on my mobile. One thing is sometimes when there's these side filter options, that doesn't always show on mobile. So I just want to make sure that it does. And it does. You have to, it says categories and you have to like open it up. But at least it is there. Let's see. Okay. So in your case, that works. I mean, for most boutique owners where they're selling clothing, they're going to obviously want to break it down in their menu more. Oh, cool. You're using a mega menu, which is a really cool option on a lot of the paid themes, where when you drop it down, you can actually then do your subcategories and subcategories. And this is great if you have a ton of products. Like, let's just see. Okay, cool. Because if transition, cool. I mean, you seem to have a lot of a large catalog. Because one thing is that I wouldn't recommend breaking it down into this many subcategories if you have a smaller catalog. But on the flip side, I also wouldn't recommend putting things into too few categories if you do have a really large catalog. So just some things to think about. But this menu, okay, tops, dresses, accessories, outerwear, winter sale, maternity sale items, gift cards, about us, our blog. Okay. All right. Featured products. Again, you could change this to just be something a little bit more on brand. It's just like all those little places that you can infuse a little bit of your brand's personality. Like, here's an opportunity. This is an opportunity. Um, Here is an opportunity. Oh, you need to fix your Instagram feed. That is just something that's going on right now. If you check out my YouTube channel, which you can get to on my Facebook page, you can find the link. I don't know. It's probably hard to search on YouTube, but I have a video on how to fix that. But anyway, all of this, like enter your email address, connect with us. Those are all opportunities to infuse your branding. Okay, so let's see what else I wanted to go over. Oh yeah. So along with your how your items are organized. And I have a really cool exercise if you read in the blog below on like testing that. Oh, I meant to hit search. Also make sure that you have a search bar and make sure that it works well. Okay. Cool. Because one thing to keep in mind is like, say that you have items and you're using, like, this is Field of Flowers dress, but say that you were just using Field of Flowers. This wouldn't necessarily come up unless you were using dress at least as a tag. And you could go further to break these down, like Field of Flowers midi dress, Field of Flowers maxi dress, mini dress. That way, if somebody's searching, they're going to find specifically what they're looking for right away. So that's just something to think about in terms of your Shopify product tags and your product titles. Okay, so then the other thing is, do you have some sort of a size filter in place? Just checking out all of these. So this is basically a something cool that you can do where you can set up like automated collections that are based on, variant, title, and inventory being in stock, or greater than 0, which means like if I hit small, it's only going to show me what's in stock in a small. So that's something helpful too to think about. Okay, your customer's purchase journey. So here's where you're going to want to pick an item, add it to cart, and basically go to checkout and make sure that there's nothing like stopping you along the way. So I'm just going to pick a random product, add it to cart. Okay, and check out. Okay, cool. I'm not going to complete the purchase, but if it was you, I actually would. So I would create like a discount code, and then when you're done, you can even you can reimburse or replenish, your inventory level on that item. Because this is a good call to make sure that like everything worked in the whole process, and that your emails have been sent out. And that's another thing. Have you customized your emails using the app Orderly emails? Because those are a good opportunity to get in front of your, customer again, basically. So, okay. So do that, and do that on mobile and desktop, and just make sure there aren't any issues with that process. Everything seems really easy. The one thing I will say is, to me, this is a little bit small, and small. The thin white text just seems like it's probably fine. I think it's all just a little bit small. But let me also see. Okay, fit model. Model is 5'6" and wearing a small. So another thing with sizing is you could mention like what that model normally wears, like dress size wise, just for comparison. You have material, care instructions. Okay, cool. And you would have customer reviews here if they left them. So, let's see. Okay. Okay, so this is kind of confusing. This just says variant, but it really should say size. I know that this is probably obvious, but you want to assume that like your grandma is trying to shop here, like who's not tech savvy at all, because no matter what age somebody is, it's not about age. Because actually, some grandmas probably are way more savvy than any of us are. And then there's my grandma who, I mean, she will never be able to shop online. Let me just put it that way. Like never, no matter how, it doesn't matter. Anyway, besides the point. Just assume that the person visiting is extremely not tech savvy. So make everything black and white, as clear as possible. Everything should be really easy. So this needs to be size. And then I do like when, let's see if any of these have it. So this is also nice. A lot of themes allow this for size and colors. Some themes even allow color swatches, which require a little bit of upkeep to make sure that those color swatches, like the appropriate colors, are uploaded into your assets and your coding. But anyway, so this is a nice way to better highlight the variants that are available. Let's see, variant, okay. And then there's no product description here at all. So they're not going to know like how these run, and that could cause an issue with they don't want to buy it in the first place because they don't know if it's going to fit or what size to order. And B, if they do order, they're going to go with hopefully, what their usual size is. And then if it doesn't fit, they're going to request a return or exchange, which is just a hassle. Or B, they are going to just, keep these shoes or give them away that don't fit, and then they're never going to shop again because they were like, I ordered something and didn't fit. So, so that's something to think about. Let's see. Add to cart. Okay. Okay. And then you haven't customized this page, which isn't like a huge deal, but every little step matters. And then let me just see. Okay, you do have that. Okay, cool. You can customize this page in your theme customizer in Shopify. Yeah. Okay. Then, I could go on and on, I'm sure, on each of these websites, but I just wanted to touch on each for a little bit at least. So the next thing is just basically a general link check. So what you want to do is click every single link, like every single link, and, all of these as well. Well, let's go back to the homepage. Click on any graphics that you have. And then all of these links, like where are these supposed to go? These just go to your homepage. Can you either set up brand collections where these are linked to those collections, or I would turn off the linking on those so that it doesn't so that these aren't even clickable. Like that's what I would do if it's not going to go anywhere. Anyway, and then click like all of these links and just make sure everything goes to the right place. Review the pages. When you're on a particular page, if it has any links, like, let's see which one might. Well, this one doesn't, but say that there was like a link here. Check on that link too. Like literally just go link crazy and check all of your links and make sure that everything is good. Speaking of our story, this is a little bit unpersonal to me, even though first glance. I would just add a little bit of life in here. I would add a great photo, and I would just make it more personal, like definitely make it in first person and really dig into like why you started. But again, like first person, like pretend you're talking to your best friend about like this dream come true. You know what I mean? Like be as personal as you can, because this is your opportunity to start building a relationship with that visitor, basically. Oh, and then so if I hit blog, this gave me an error. So that's just a good example of why you really want to check every single link everywhere. So, okay, I hope that this helps you get an idea on some things to check, but definitely read the rest of the blog for um more things to check as you audit your own website.